Hello my sweeties and welcome back to my channel. If you don't already know me, my name is Celise and thank you for joining my spooky little family. In today's video, we are talking about the Wolfman. Let's get into the video. Girl. 2025 just started. I'm gonna need everybody to calm down, okay? Because it's 2025 and we already got this year's Night Swim. Oh my god. Is that a spoiler for how I'll feel about this movie today? Probably. Anyways, I think we should just get right into it because in today's video, I'm kind of just going to go for a full-on rant and not really hold back because I kind of feel like this kind of movie releasing in 2025, yikes. Okay. Directed by Leigh Whannell, starring Christopher Abbott, Julia Garner, and Matilda Firth, The Wolfman follows Blake, who persuades his wife Charlotte to take a break from the city and visit his remote childhood home in rural Oregon. As they arrive at the farmhouse in the dead of night, they're attacked by an unseen animal and barricade themselves inside the home as the creature prowls the perimeter. But as the night stretches on, Blake begins to behave strangely, transforming into something unrecognizable. Oh, girl. Okay, so The Wolfman was my first 2025 horror film at the theater. I'm really sad. I'm really disappointed because I'm gonna be real with you guys. I was on board for The Wolfman, okay? I was on board because I was like, okay, well, Leigh Whannell's been wanting to kind of do this universe. We got The Invisible Man, and I thought that that was a phenomenal movie, and I love the message around that movie and everything really works in that movie. Performances are incredible. Love the script. Like The Invisible Man, you guys know I love that film. I've talked about it since the start of my channel. I am not sure what was going on here. Okay, so whatever. I'm just gonna spoil this movie because I don't even care. So if you haven't seen The Wolfman, if you plan on watching it, I don't know, like, go watch it first, and then if you care what I think for some reason, you can come back, hang out with me, and like listen to what I have to say. Let's just get our performances out of the way real quick because that is kind of going to bleed into my thoughts on the story and the script. Now, as I said, I was excited even though I thought the trailer when I first saw it was not very good. I'm gonna be honest, I only saw the first trailer that was released, and it was the one where they were like in the car wreck. You know the trailer, okay? I was like, all right. They used the shot of them getting out of the car and whatnot, and then it said The Wolfman. Now, what really had me on board was Leigh Whannell, for sure. I'm a Leigh Whannell girly, you know, I've become a Saw girly over the past year and a half, 2 years, and I have a deep love for Leigh. I think that he's a very talented individual, and I always love what he brings to the table. Now, unfortunately, he does not bring much to the table here for some reason. To get into the performances, we have Christopher Abbott, who I am such a huge fan of. I think he's an incredible actor. I think he picks really interesting roles. He's always in really interesting films. I loved Sanctuary from 2023. That was my favorite film of that year. And I thought he gave an incredible performance alongside Margaret Qualley. And I have no notes. I've always loved Christopher Abbott. And he seems to be a lover of the weird and erotic, sexy horror movies. And we love that, you know, we stan. Unfortunately, Christopher Abbott does not really get to shine within this script. All of the character work in this movie is severely underdeveloped. Not to mention, all of our characters do not speak like actual people. So that was really something. Now, if I'm talking about Christopher Abbott, I have to talk about Queen Julia Garner, who's in this movie. She also sold me because I'm a big fan of her, love her in Ozark. You know, she's someone that I just think can do no wrong. She is a very strong actress, and I have a lot of respect for her work. It's unfortunate that they give her absolutely nothing to work with here. Like, I'm talking about girl is working with crumbs. Like, Christopher Abbott essentially, I guess, did more than Julia Gardner because there was just a lot of really awkward shots of just her reacting to whatever kind of fuckery he was doing. And to be honest, there was a lot of dead air. And I think that is basically because this is just a really bad script. I have no notes for the actress who played their daughter. I thought she was good. I thought she had good chemistry, actually, with Christopher Abbott. I did believe that that was his daughter. I did like their cute little dynamic or whatever. I don't think it really gets to thrive because, once again, nobody is written well at all. There are actual lines in this movie that are really laughable. And to me, it was hard to deal with that. I'm gonna be honest, as a Leigh Whannell fan, now I recognize, sometimes directors don't always hit, sometimes they don't always have their moment. Like, a great example, I love Ari Aster, but I fear that Beau is Afraid was awful, and I kind of was like, oh, he's in his flop era. Now, Leigh Whannell may be in his flop era. I don't even know. Nothing about this works for me. So apparently this movie has had lots of issues before coming out. It was constantly pushed back, and then there was like issues with Blumhouse and the writing, and Ryan Gosling was supposed to be on board for this, and then he wasn't. There's like a whole bunch of hoopla that was going on with this movie. I don't really care. If you care, you can like look it up. But this movie kind of seems like it just like did not want to be made. Like, every obstacle you could have, they had. Okay, so yikes. My big issue with this is that I could tell immediately that it wasn't going to be good. Now, this also pains me to see. The Wolfman brings nothing new to the table, and it is essentially just this very, very generic movie. It is a Wolfman. It is a body horror. I mean, we should be getting so much. Usually, body horror, if you've been a part of this channel for a long time, you know that body horror is one of my absolute favorite subgenres. It is one that I feel like I can most relate to all the time. I love body horror. As much as I love giallo, I love body horror just as much. So the fact that this was a body horror that really did not have a lot of body horror and did not have the emotional stakes that come with a body horror movie is insane. You have a movie called The Wolfman. Can you be so serious? Now, back to how I knew that the film was really, really bad. And I'm sorry I'm like jumping all over the place. This is a non-scripted review, so bear with me. When the film started, instantly I was like, oh, okay. I thought the dialogue was a little bit off, but sometimes I'm like, sometimes it's a rough start. It'll probably get better. I have faith in Leigh. About 10 or 15 minutes or so into the movie, Christopher Abbott's character just completely has an exposition dump to his child in the movie. And I was like, no. I knew already. I was like, oh, this is going to be really, really bad. And when I tell you, it just proceeded to get worse. So it's not a long film, and thankfully it doesn't really drag, and I'm so happy for that. It kind of moves pretty quickly. Like, pacing-wise, I think good job, because we didn't have a lot to work with, so thank God this wasn't a 2-hour film. The moment that we get to essentially where we have to get to in the story, which is like his dad's house up in the woods, everything kind of just gets worse and worse. What should be very intense sequences, such as the car crash that is in the trailer, and even us seeing for the first time the creature, all fall completely flat. Nothing is landing as scary. Intensity completely out the window. Not really sure if they were even trying to build any intensity, but it definitely does not read that way. Also, I totally understand, I guess, the choice to not do a kind of full-on werewolf transformation like in something like An American Werewolf. I guess I kind of understand not doing that, whatever. They wanted to do a more subtle thing that each time you see him in the shot, he's more and more looking like a wolf. Now, I think this lacks in him looking like a wolf. If I'm being really honest, I don't think that the makeup looked good whatsoever. I don't really love that. I feel like it just really wasn't giving. There was only one scene in particular when he is kind of at the beginning of realizing that he's infected, and it has to do with his arm, and I guess I won't spoil that for those who want to see the movie. I don't know. I feel like I spoiled this already, so if you're still here, hi. So that scene with his arm in particular and Julia Garner's reaction was really good. I think that that was a genuinely gross scene. But outside of that, there was nothing really gross about this movie. And I mean, it's body horror. Can we get like goopy and icky? Can we get nasty? You know, I want nasty. Give me fly level nasty. Now, they decide to not do that, and they really just did not at all develop the relationship between Christopher Abbott and Julia Garner's characters. I feel like I didn't really believe that they were a real couple. I didn't really believe their whole dynamic. And this is not really anything to do with the actors, because I know what they're capable of, and I know that they're amazing actors. I mean, like, be so serious. The script is just a huge issue. Julia Garner's character is like not even a person. So I really just hated everything about that. All we know about her is that she's a journalist and a mom. Okay? Can I know like a little bit more of what's going on? No. We also don't really know anything about Christopher Abbott's character other than he is a writer, but he's in between jobs. Okay? We know nothing else. And he's currently now a stay-at-home dad. Okay. I think with all of that said, just all of the stakes were nowhere. There were no stakes. Everything was just incredibly boring. I really hated the way that he looked. Like, by the time we get to, I guess, the final form, which really is nothing that special, I don't like at all how he looked. Also, not to mention, I knew immediately what the twist was going to be. I actually knew within like the first 15 minutes before it was even revealed at the end. So by the time it became revealed, I was like, yeah, didn't everyone know that? Like, I don't know. Just nobody in my theater was like, oh my God, T, like, you know, and usually with like a good twist, we have a couple people in the theater that are like, oh my God, you know, no. I gotta say, my theater was dead silent, and there was like a couple people that kept laughing at the dialogue, and I felt really at home, you know? Like, I was like, yes, you guys understand that this is bad. We are all in the trenches together. I'm very disappointed in terms of shot work and camera work. This is really boring. Like, there are no cool shots outside of, I guess, the one shot that they do show in the trailer with the car crash sequence. Yes, that's a cool shot. But to be honest, the fact that within the scene and the whole movie, there really is no tension that was kind of built, the scene just kind of falls flat. So while your camera is doing cool stuff, really it's not effective. And that just really doesn't work for me. Now, I don't want to say that the Wolfman is as bad as Night Swim, because Night Swim was really atrocious. But I want to just let you guys know that this is not good. Like, I actually think we would have all benefited if this was kind of like just a film that went to streaming. I don't really understand who this movie is for. There's so many cool things you can do with some of the ideas in this movie. There's so much more you could have done with Julia Garner's character. And as you can see, I don't even remember their character names because like nothing mattered in this movie. But honestly, if you are in her position and you are witnessing your partner, your husband, changing right before your eyes into something that you don't recognize, into a creature, being violent, that's something that would be so devastating and upsetting. Like, I would imagine that, yes, at first you're like kind of speechless because you're like, what the hell is going on? But I mean, she was speechless for the whole movie because she really didn't say anything. There was multiple times where he just like walks in the house, he walks past her and she just stands there like in fear. And the scene is quiet and awkward and pretty much laughable because what's going on? Like, I just feel like there could have been so many cool things to do, and with the twist and the connection and what we find out later, I feel like there really could have been something cool. It could have been as good as The Invisible Man had this film had maybe a little while longer to marinate. Like maybe we needed to do a couple rewrites of the script. Maybe we needed to take more time on this. The entire movie feels incredibly rushed. It feels like, you know, they just wanted to get this thing done and out of the way. And maybe that's why it was released in January. Yikes. And I'm gonna be so real. Even while this isn't quite as bad as Night Swim, it's kind of right at the cusp for me. Like, I'm going to be really honest. Night Swim was so bad that I would never watch it again. I actually, funny story, forgot to even include it in my final wrap-up of my best and not so best horror films of 2024. And I forgot about it because it was that bad, and I literally forgot it was that year. Night Swim is a movie I will never watch again. The whole thing is atrocious. I don't think this film is quite as atrocious, but it's kind of like a half lev there. Like, it really is a half star there. It's just not good. And the fact that we have something so generic, boring, like nobody cared, like clearly this is just like thrown at us and like, give me money please. The fact that we have that in 2025, girl, please free me. I can't. Like, I'm absolutely done. I don't want to see any more, actually. I think I'm done. I don't know if this like whole universe that Lee's doing is going to continue after this movie. Who even knows? I feel like this whole universe that he wanted to do with like the Universal monsters and everything, I feel like this is something that kind of is taking forever to happen. I'm okay if it's just The Invisible Man. I really love that movie. I'm not sure how we got here. It feels like we took like 90 steps backwards. Like, I don't understand. Oh my God. And before I forget, everybody was kind of mentioning to me that there is a Saw reference in this movie. So I was like, oh, okay, I can't wait. And apparently Lee Winnell confirmed that he did a little Saw reference. So I was like, oh my God, I can't wait. I'm really like looking forward to it. I thought that it would be something really cool. Like, you know, recreating that final like shot between Lawrence and Adam on the floor that like they're crying and it's super gay. I thought it would kind of be that happening between Christopher Abbott and Julia Garner. No, it's not. It's actually nowhere near as cool or effective as that would have been. The reference, while it was cute, it was boring. I'm gonna be honest, it was cute because, oh, that's so nice, honey. I love the thought. It doesn't really work for me. I'm so sad to say this because, again, Lee, I think you're great, but this is not it. It's not it, babe. I hate it. And to be honest, I just didn't feel any love. I didn't feel any love for the genre. I didn't feel any love between our two characters that are married. And it just doesn't work. It feels like a really empty film that is trying to be about things that are important, and I guess it's trying to be effective, but it really just fails in all regard. Okay, I'm finally over venting about the Wolfman. And with that, I am going to be giving the Wolfman 1.5 Levs out of 5. I almost gave it a 1, but I'm gonna give it a half because it wasn't quite as terrible as Night Swim. Here is to hoping that the rest of 2025 will be stronger in terms of horror. I hope that we get a couple bangers this month. We have films like Companion and Presence to look forward to later this month, and I am very excited to see those. So hopefully those will do something for me because this did nothing. All right, you guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe as it really helps me a lot. And be sure to click that little notification bell to be up to date every single time I upload. And then let me know in the comments, did you go check out the Wolfman? What were your thoughts? What's your favorite version? I would love to talk about it. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.